Hello, everybody. You're already here. Oh, hello. Hello, Yavi.
Good morning, ma.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you, madam.
Hello. I'm just waiting, giving everybody a few minutes to arrive. Hello. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Amanda. Look
Hi. Hi, Stephen. I'm just going to let the, I'm going to play a little song while everybody's coming into the room. Okay, so we'll give it 5-10 minutes. If anyone feels like, you know, gathering a little prayer or something that's meaningful to you that you might want to say to open, you're welcome to get it at this time. If there's something that stands out to you. I'm just going to play you all a beautiful song just to open us in by Coco Pelli, and it's called Metamorphosis.
Oh, I know it. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful prayer to open our Lion's Gate time together. So I'll just play it for us. Just let me know if you can hear it, and we'll just give a little bit of time for everybody to come in.
Amanda, while we're waiting, won't you just check to do the screen share for me, please? Then that's set up before
Can you hear the music?
No.
No.
And at the very core of creation, something new is being born. We are awakening from a long collective sleep. An in vitro dreaming deep within the womb of our Mother Earth. Now is the time of a great shifting of cosmic wheels, which will help in the reformation of our Earth, and trigger a radical shift in consciousness. The galactic tidal wave of light is descending upon the Earth, activating the highest potential, raising the frequency. Reality is being reformed, redefined. The activation of new neural patterns will trigger new perceptions, new information, new impulses, and the recalibration of DNA. Open yourself to these high-dimensional frequencies. yourself. Be prepared for the challenges to come. The dark times of chaos and upheaval. You'll experience a dynamic recalibration of electromagnetic fields and Earth systems on a global scale. Stay present. Stay calm and centered. Try not to judge what is happening. Surrender to the process. Hold firm in the knowledge of what is being birthed. The process of birthing is an awesome undertaking, an arduous task, often fraught with intensity. Stay in the heart. Stay connected to beloved friends and family. Remember that this too shall pass, and is a necessary purification, a great purge of all that is not in resonance with what is being born in us. All will be redeemed and reformed in miraculous ways. Chaos will become peace, and sorrow will become joy. Trust. Trust with love. The butterfly is a marvelous demonstration of the power within trust and vulnerability.
Hi, Amanda.
And in the miracle of metamorphosis. After all, what is a butterfly if not the flowering of a caterpillar beyond its wildest dreams? Emerging from the womb of the chrysalis, the butterfly discards its restrictive silken shell to inherit a magical new world of flowers, breezes, and sunshine. A world of freedom and delight and the celebration of its divine nature. She simply opens her wings of graceful flight. Participation in the divine ecstasy of creation. As you turn your light inward and witness your true nature, you become an empty mirror. And go beyond beliefs or doctrines. Dissolving the veils, the formless takes form. Going or coming, we are in the right place. As the veils are lifted, we will perceive worlds of unimaginable beauty. Self-transforming astral worlds of light will shine down and interpenetrate the density of matter, making it translucent, less dense, and more permeable to our thoughts and feelings. multi-dimensional reality and the interconnectedness of all things will be as clear as sunlight. And just as the light is not separate from the sun, and the wave is not separate from the ocean, so shall we realize our connection to the source and recognize ourselves in each other as one vast ocean of love and light. Let the divine recognize the divine. Lights will find other lights.
All right, I thought we should start. Happy Lion's Gate, everybody. Rawr. Start with a roar. Hello, beautiful beings from all over the world. I hope you can hear me. And yeah, exciting. Here we all are. We've got people from everywhere. I just want to do a little round of introductions before we start. So maybe you guys can just go around, introduce yourself, say where you're from, and anything in particular that you want to say, just like a minute's worth. Just a quick hello from all of you, or anyone that feels like speaking. Anyone want to start us off? And where you're from as well. Just remember to unmute yourself.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, forgive me, I need to find my roar. I'm Tish, or Letitia. I live in Johannesburg, and I'm been part of the CC Johannesburg group for about 6 months.
Yay,
Love and
welcome. Welcome. Who else wants to popcorn in and say hello?
This is Gabby. Morning.
Hello.
Gabby and Beth are here. We're in the Baluli Game Reserve.
Yay!
So the lions are all around us. And
Oh my God.
Us.
You're so lucky.
So I'm sending you the energy.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I look forward to this. Thank you so much. We only joined, well, I only joined like about, a month ago or so.
Okay,
So
well, welcome. Welcome to this
Thank you.
incredible community.
Thank you.
Okay, shall I call people? Stephen. He knew he was up next.
It had to happen. Hi, I'm Stephen. I'm up in the Celtic west of Britain in Wales, and I've made connection with these beautiful people in South Africa, which is where my spiritual heart sits, and beautiful people like Amanda, Leone, Judita, and others that we've met, done some constellations, which superb, wonderful, amazing experiences. And got a very strong connection to lions and to Lyra in particular, and the Lion group, and work with that a lot. So just auspicious times that we are in. They're about to change quite dramatically, I think, in the next few months. And here goes to Raw.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so nice to have you. I know you'll pop in and say a few things a little bit later. Yovi, we pick on you.
Namaskaram to everyone.
Hello.
Yawi Yabwashe from Nigeria, CC Nigeria member. I've been with you for some months now, and I'm happy to be connected with the CC members of South Africa. I'm all heart with you, with all the tribulation that you have been going through. I have always put you in my prayer, my meditation, so that everything should be stabilized. It's almost the same thing we are witnessing here, but in political level, not social unrest, but just political. The insecurity is very, very high, and it's purposely caused by the ruling party, the government. They are sponsoring these herdsmen that are disturbing, kidnapping, killing the travelers. Difficult to move from one area to the other. Even villages, they are disturbing and they cannot go to their farm. So we are praying, we believe that the energy of today will settle the mind of each one and make everything to be in order. Thank you very much.
Beautiful, beautiful to have you. Thank you. I don't think I'm going to go through everybody. I think we introduce ourselves sort of as we go along. Otherwise, we're going to run out of time. Just saying hello to everybody. Is anyone else that feels like they want to come in? Donovan, are you there?
Yes, just good morning to everyone.
Hello, we've got a new coordinator for the KZN Eastern Bloc, and that is Donovan. So that's very exciting.
Yes, just looking at beautiful views down the valley here and knowing that the Lions were here too.
Wow.
And I've also had a lovely connection to Lyra, Lyrans, and yes, celebration of the new way and the new energy and the new world that we're all creating together.
Beautiful, beautiful. Anyone else from overseas? Any other international participants? Where's Hannah from?
Hello, everybody. Greetings from Czechia.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm originally from Prague, but now I'm, you know, in the middle of nowhere in my cottage. So I'm, you know, trying to search for the data. So maybe I will probably finished with this meeting very soon, because I'm not sure how much data I have in my phone. But anyway, it's lovely to see you all. I'm a member of CC for a month or so, so I'm a newbie.
Wow.
But you know, following Simon for a very long time, but just, you know, got connected around a month ago. So I'm enjoying, you know, knowing that there are normal people in the world who are full of love and reason. So again, hello to everybody, and looking forward to, you know, our brightest future.
Yeah, beautiful. Welcome. And I think we will record each section and upload it and have a sort of like a playlist as well, so that you can, if you've missed things and you really want to, then you can go back and have a look. So perfect. I'm going to just welcome everybody who's here to our fantastic day. I have done the Lions Gate some way or another for many, many years, and I am so happy to have this amazing group of people to offer, you know, work and love and inspiration to and with. So I'll just talk a little bit about what I'm hoping to achieve today, and for some reason I can't paste, I'm unable to paste the schedule, so it's not letting me, but you guys can go onto the Telegram group and just click at the top and find the pin. So we're going to be doing an introduction for about an hour to an hour and a half. Then we've got an artist, John Moore, at 10:30, and I'm going to be interviewing him. He's done beautiful lions, winged lion piece of art, and we're going to do a practical piece around where are we at personally, and how do we get to our sovereignty how do we get ourselves into greater freedom? So that if you're joining in that piece, just bring a little piece of paper and a pen. And then after that is a wonderful guy called Johan. He is a Q follower on the board from right at the beginning, when I don't know if it was 4chan or 8chan at the beginning, but when Q started posting on the board, and he wrote a book about his journey, and he calls himself S.A. Anon, and his book is called S.A. Anon, The Great Awakening or something. So he's a lovely guy. He's going to be speaking to us at around 11:15, 11:45. And then we've got, let's just see after that, then we've got, I was going to have a break for lunch, but it seems that lunch is going to have to be between times. Let me just see who's after that, because I've got a new person. So then we've got Natalia Rose, who will be coming in. I met her at Michael Tellinger's Ubuntu Festival. She's amazing. She has really transformed herself completely with the power of food and nutrition. And she will talk about her work on the planet. I mean, she could just about be a breatharian. Honestly, she's incredible. So she's going to talk to us at 1:45 for about half an hour. She's dropping in about the greater cleanup that's going on. And then at 1:20 to 1:45, we've got, I also really wanted a little bit of an introduction to common law. Just because at the Adam's Calendar retreat, I had a very strong indication that we needed to all learn very much about how to step into our sovereignty through natural law and common law, that is really a part of us finding our freedom. So we've got an intro to that. And then lunchtime is really sort of like, you know, hunter-gatherer style. It's as you go along, a little something here and there. So just every time, if you want to go and get something to eat, you know, you can go at any point. Then I'm going to be doing a constellation for 3 hours. We're going to be constellating the Lion's Gate, tapping into the messages of the lions and the Lyrans, and just seeing what's happening in the cosmos and what we can download in terms of direct knowing. And then there'll be another short break. Then after that, it's at 6 o'clock, it's Brad Johnson from the New Earth Teachings. I've followed him for quite a long time, and I was really interested in him also doing some channeled work through his higher self, Adronis, around what I was really curious about was the links about the lions and the cheetah and the panther and the leopard in terms of Africa, our connections to them galactically. And then he's going to share a little bit about his journey and where he's at, because he's going through a huge transformation. He's stopping channeling Adronis. It'll be the last channeling at the end of this month. And he is then moving more into non-duality practices. So he's dropping everything that he used to do and completely changing. And then, of course, we've got Sasha Stone after that, which is exciting. And Sasha's a winged lion. If you look in his eyes, I've sat with him in person. He's definitely a winged lion for sure. So that's very exciting. So that's our day. And I'm sure you guys will be in and out throughout the day. Let's see. Oh, Guy's helping us today. Thanks, Guy. He's just doing a little bit of IT work just to help me manage the group. The large part of being together online for the full day is, you know, getting the online thing to happen. So he's put in the schedule there for us. Thanks so much into the chat. Okay, so I want to start with a little prayer for us and then go into a little bit of my understanding about the lions and the Lyrans and the Lion's Gate. And then I'd like to hand over for a little while to Leone. She's going to give us an introduction to Lyra and her past and her understanding about the Lyrans and her project. And Stephen's going to come in as well before we end. And anything else that anybody wants to add, we'll just hold space for that as much as we can. Okay. So this is a prayer from my spiritual teacher, Ramtha, and it's based on Gandalf's battle at the bridge. When Gandalf faces that huge monster, and Gandalf's about this big, and the monster's massive, and he basically stands up to that monster with this total oneness, you could say, complete knowing that this monster is not going to pass. And in so many ways, that's what we are in the middle of an initiation of, is understanding how to come to that completely analogical state of mind or state of oneness within ourselves, where we are the outcome. And no matter what else goes on around us in the physical world, that what is the reality that we hold within us is the complete reality. And that's the sort of path of initiation into mastery. So this school that I go to talks a lot about the personality as the thing that really has to be conquered. So that's kind of like the image, or the part of us that is the flesh, you could say, the part that really wants to survive, that sort of has to go through a process of transformation and transmutation to a higher aspect. So I'll read you this prayer here. It's called the Scroll of a Master. It says, God I am, Lord God of my being, I have dominion over my life. Over the following I reject from here on out. I shall not allow, nor shall I accept, the runners, the manifestations of my past. I reject my victimization and shall not see, nor shall I honor, that this should have made my life less than God. And I, the Lord God of my being, reject lack in all of its forms, in its connection to my tyranny, to my victimization. For I shall not accept lack, and to me, always, I shall have what I desire as the Lord God of my being. I reject utterly and completely diseasements and ill health, for I am a joyous God whose laughter is like thunder. And all the days of my life shall be undaunted and unstained with ill health, as I, the Lord God of my being, reject this hour, that which is termed age and death. I am a forever being that has never died. Therefore, the law of eternal life that abides in me, I command and abide in my body forever and ever, as the Lord God of my being, the Lord of my genetics, the voice of my DNA. I command a youthful body, I command courage, I command sovereignty, effervescence of energy, that all the days of my eternal life are lived in the youth of my existence. I reject this day any less than that which I ordain, nor shall I accept the runners of my personality, of fear, and all that shall come to me are the laws that I have ordained this night. For this is the Lord God, the Christ of my being. So say I to life, so be it. So that's my little prayer for the God of us to arise and kind of say, okay, it's enough of the fear. Let's step into our sovereign self. So be it for that. And if there's an offering that doesn't resonate with you, please just take the pieces that work for you. Okay, some people are coming from different places. So anyone else want to share an opening prayer while we're here? There's people coming in from all over. Lyra. Lyra's coming in from Switzerland. That's nice. All right, so if anyone feels at any point that they feel like sharing a prayer of protection, a spontaneous song, whatever you want to do, you can absolutely bring that in. Okay, so I wanted to share a little bit about the Lion's Gate. So the lion is, from what I understand and what I've learned, is linked to the Lyran people. So the Lyran people are, as far as I understand, very, very ancient, one of the most ancient races, one of the first races galactically. And the Lyrans and the lions are connected to each other. And so where there are lions, you often find the Lyran beings. And the Lyran beings are really here to help us clean up this planet. We can call on them to help with the work, can call on the energy of the lion. You often hear about the Lion of Judah walking with Christ, or that Christ is the Lion of Judah. Energies to help bring in this higher consciousness. So Credo Mutwa, who was the great Sanusi, the record keeper of Africa, died last year at about, I think he was 98. And yeah, I think 98 or 99. And he was known as the Lion Shaman, one of the Lion Shamans of Africa. And he really carried a lot of the energy of courage and bravery. And he just said that if you want to carry lion energy, you have to work with overcoming your fears. And I think that this is very, very symbolic in terms of where we are coming to within ourselves in this awakening. We're basically being asked to step into our fears and transmute them into courage. That's the way that we're going to be taking this planet back from, I guess, what we are all shocked to be seeing has been happening. I mean, I've been in this path for a long time, 30 years, I mean, pretty much, you know, actively. And since the great sort of reveals started, when Q started posting and the drops started coming in and these rabbit holes started opening up, I never in my wildest dreams would I have ever imagined what was happening on this planet. And so as we are going through this dark to light process, the death of the old earth, we are having to find the courage to walk through it, to walk through this valley, you know, of the shadow of the death of the old, but the old Luciferian order. And you may have other words for that, that are trying their best to keep us in the prison and in the cage, the 3D cage. And so in many ways, the lions are symbolic of that. So in this book, I don't know if any of you have read this book by Elizabeth Heish. It's called Initiation. She talks about how once upon a time, the lions used to walk as equals with humanity when the consciousness was higher. So there wasn't as much fear. Humanity wasn't in a kind of victim state. They weren't afraid. The consciousness hadn't dropped as much. And so there was mastery, you could say, over the flesh, over this idea of dying, I guess. And so we moving back in that direction. I think many of us are facing deaths, facing our, our mortality. And so we call on the strength and the power of this lion energy within us to kind of overcome some of those obstacles, to vibrate at a place that doesn't have fear. And that takes quite a lot of transformation work. Stephen, you want to say something?
Yeah, firstly, Initiation, I first read when I was 11 years old, and I've read it several times since. And if you haven't read it, I'd strongly recommend to everybody to take that opportunity. And it is a profound book, and it's revelatory, I feel, and exactly as you've just said, Amanda, it's very relevant to the now. But your talk of death and the relevance as well to the book of Initiation, I do have a passage I'd like to read that sits with that, because it deals with perhaps the fear of death, which is present for people, and to understand beyond that, perhaps. So it's a passage from the Tibetan Book of the Dead. So I'll shut up and read the passage, and then I'll shut up again and let you continue, Amanda. Thank you for letting me
no, please do.
Okay, so here we go. I have walked 1,000 shores, crossed 1,000 rivers. My skin was black, red, yellow, white, and silver. It has shone with angelic light and glowed with lust, burnt under the sun and rotted in a grave. I have been a man, a woman, a child, a parent, ugly and beautiful, glorious and miserable, a wise one and a fool, rich and poor, healthy and crippled, triumphant and vanquished. I have lived and I have died. I have killed. I have been killed. I've been a king. I've been destitute. I've been a carer and cared for, the winner and the loser. I have been victim, a tyrant, a judge, an accused. I have contemplated 1,000 skies and worshipped 1,000 gods and spoken 1,000 tongues. The Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, I have been, I am, and I will be. Child of infinity, soul of 1,000 mornings, I now turn to the one light at the crossing of all the paths.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Yeah, please bring in anything that feels poetically relevant as we go along. So just tying a few threads together. So there's this idea of humanity coming back into its awakened state, and the lions, us being able to walk as equals with the lions again. And that we're going through initiations of understanding that we are not our physical bodies, that we are consciousness, we are an eternal self that doesn't die. And all of the gateways that we have to pass through in our consciousness in order to awaken to that. So I also wanted to talk about, give you guys a little bit of a summary for those that didn't go to the Adam's Calendar site, and see if I can just draw a little bit of pull some threads through to this day. Adam's Calendar is a site in South Africa, which is sort of known to be something like Stonehenge. It's like a Stonehenge gateway portal, but much, much older. And what I understood about it, so Michael Tellinger is the person that made it very famous in South Africa and kind of took it around the world. But in actual fact, it was used by Credo Mutwa a long time before Michael Tellinger found it. And what Credo Mutwa used it for was initiating sangomas. And I've been going back and forth to that site, which is a Stargate portal that has been used for many things over a very long time. I've been going there for as long as, you know, since Michael sort of put it onto the map. So that's about 2006, 2007. What's that? Like 15 years or something, is that right? And basically what the calendar is, and what I understood from Credo Mutwa is that it's a site that was built to honor the mother, the great mother, Africa as the great motherland, Mama Africa, and the original place of Genesis for humanity. So there were apparently a number of Genesis labs or genetic labs where beings like the Anunnaki came to Earth and cultivated the human race by splicing genes. And that experiment went on a long time with many different star races until humanity was made up of, you know, I don't know how many star races. I think like at least 12, I'd say, genetic pools that were, I don't know if anyone knows about that, but basically they just kept splicing genes and creating prototypes in this Genesis space. And these stones were used as a portal space for the Anunnaki to come back and use the land to create these hybrids between themselves and the beings that were alive on the planet at the time. And the story goes that was Homo erectus. So Homo erectus plus the star genetics gave you Homo sapien. And that was part of why there was this up jump in DNA. Okay, so the thing is with the Adam's calendar is that, why is it Adam's calendar? I often say, you know, there's more to that story. That I think that there's a missing link there as well. It should be, I don't know if any of you have heard of Ninusag, the goddess Ninusag, or Mami. I don't know if any of you have heard of her. Anyway, apparently the three that were involved in the genetic cloning, essentially, of humanity was Enki, Enlil, and Ninusag, who was the sister. Ninma, Mami, those are different names. And you can see her often appearing as a lion. She's like a lion goddess, holding like the Ankh in her hands. And I just found that fascinating because perhaps along with Anunnaki, she was Lyran. And I will hear from Leone and from Stephen again a little bit later, but I do believe that the Anunnaki and the Lyrans worked quite closely together in the establishment of the human race. So Mami's calendar, where she was the geneticist, and that was her laboratory. And there were other DNA labs as well. So let me just see what else is important to say. So we went there for the winter solstice on the 21st of June, a group of us in South Africa, and we did a ceremony around the calendar. So according to Credo, the calendar is all built like the female reproductive organs. So it's actually created like, you know, like a place of reproduction. So even the shape of the two stones like this is like the female sexual parts, and those two central stones that are like that are where the central portal is for the planting of the seeds. And it goes into a womb gate that is underneath the earth. So if you remote view that site, you'll see that there's a massive portal space underneath the two stones that are showing at the top. Okay, and so this feminine gate, this female gate of inception that is in South Africa, has been used to plant the seeds of humanity for 450,000 years, I would say. And it's had a history before that as well with the giants. So when we went there, I knew, I've done it before, I knew that it's an important stargate portal for planting seeds into the womb gate of the mother, okay, to birth ideas. So one of the ideas that we took forward was this idea of bringing the gold and the God back to the people and planting those seeds, the return of the gold and the God to the people, because in a way it's the same process, the process of taking back the God within you, however it is that you express that, your sovereignty, bringing the power of God back into your life, the gold, the money back to the people. It's all linked, in my opinion. And so we stood around this insemination point on the planet. We did our ceremony. We planted this intentional seeds of allowing in a way, the birthing, the waters, the birth waters to come, that will then result in the new earth being born. So yeah, that, anyone want to comment on that, so that I don't just speak for a long period of time without anyone else? Does anyone want to say anything there? The link between the God, the aspect of God within you, or the God's sort of sovereignty process, the money, Solomon's mines, coming back to the people. Does anyone want to say anything about that? These are all the threads that, you know, we're trying to weave today. Yeah. Yeah, Stephen?
Yeah, obviously a group of us in Wales linked in with you doing the work at Adam's Calendar, and we chose one of the only henge sites in Wales, which is a similar shape. It looks like a womb. You have the entrance channel, and then almost like a vessel created in the land to hold that energy. And that it's a very pure energetic site, so very powerful. But just to add a layer onto what you've just said, part of that connection with some of the geomancy work that I've been doing with friends here in Wales, we've identified that there's been almost like a blanket of interference placed over the land that's been preventing people connecting fully into Gaia and being able to anchor in the full potentiality. So if you talk about the integration of the I am presence within your being, so that you become God walking, essentially, connecting into the earth and the ancestors, and all of that is very much part of that. That's the metaphysical gold, if you like, the alchemy that takes place. And so for us, we very much linked on that method with the feminine energy and the birthing and the lifting of the blankets of interference to enable people to once more reconnect to earth, to Gaia, to the crystal grids, and then to anchor through the I am presence the the cosmic golden grids, which are the things that the Lyrans work with, which is holding the balance and bringing that true abundance on many levels to us all.
Beautiful, wonderful. Does anyone else want to comment? Because there are a few people here that were part of that. Yes, Leone. And Leone is going to give us a lovely presentation just now.
What I'm finding amazing is that so much of what I have to say in my presentation is being spoken as we go along. And I really love that. It shows me that we are of one mind. A lot of threads being drawn together, and they are in my little talk that I'm going to be offering soon. So I'm really excited for what is unfolding here. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. David, you want to speak?
Yes, Amanda.
Go for it.
Well,
David's also walked through the shadow of death and has been resurrected. Well done.
Yeah, that's a whole other type of story.
It's not, it's the same story.
A few shadows, yeah, in the last couple of years. But anyway, of course, I don't know of those that are present. I don't know how many others were there, but of course I was there with Amanda and the rest of the 28, 29 of us. And yes, I witnessed what it was like to hold hands around there. The silence that we had was a very special, I've known silence, but it was a very special silence. We could feel that there was something far more than just an average getting together and being silent even in a very nice place. I sensed certain people, like Stephen, I thought they're putting their energy this way. The one or two others that I know had us in mind. And well, I mean, the whole day up until that point was fascinating as we built up to it through going through stone circles and things like that. And some of those stone circles had such absolute power and force that, you know, could only understand this once we got to Adam's calendar. And yeah, it became a little strange experience later on. But when we had finished, when the sun had set, it was wonderful as a whole lot of us brought out singing bowls, and the whole place was just ringing with the sound of the singing bowls. And I actually found myself sitting in between the main rocks, and I was actually beating them rather than causing them to sing. I had soft mallets for that. And then suddenly one of our group came and brought me a big bowl and said, "This came from Wuhan." And I thought, wow, this is something. And my whole effort was to change the energy. But it
undo
was
the frequency.
To get that just right. But
if Wuhan lab blows up, we'll know who to look for, who to point to.
Or disappears.
Beautiful. You know, it's always like the least expected, eh?
Oh yeah.
Magician.
I was fun by that. Really sting.
Beautiful.
Oh, by the way, I just may as well mention, I think Amanda's known this, somebody was pointing out, and I realized it in some of the pictures afterwards, that, oh no, actually in reality, in the distance across this wonderful bowl of a valley, there was a long cloud, slightly gray, and it was just hanging there in the distance, and it looked almost ominous. And there's a suggestion that there was a little bit of cloaking going on there.
There's lots of ships there over that site, yeah. So thank you, David. It's very exciting, and it's exciting to be able to share some of this experience with all of you. What happened at the end of the ceremony was that there were two hawks, during the ceremony, two hawks flying and kind of fighting above us. So I guess that could be symbolic of sort of the dark to light, the fight that we're in, two sort of powers up against each other. But the other thing that happened that was symbolic for me was just as we left the ceremony, the people that was the so-called keepers of the system, like the Conservancy and the people like that, this police, came to tell us to leave the site, that we're not allowed there, etc. You know, that they own it and this is the law and whatever. And we had just exactly finished our ceremony at that time. We had closed it, everything was complete. And we left. And I just remember being in a completely another dimension, like in this golden sovereign world. And I just knew that they were not the law keepers of my reality at all. And I just said, said something to this guy, alongside that, something, it wasn't like my head wasn't really even thinking about it, but I just said, you're not my God or something like that. And then we just left. But it was just a very clear indication to me that we are moving from this old system, especially legally, to a new system, and how important it is for us to understand natural law and common law, because it will really give us something to stand on, a new system, a new way, an ancient way. And that's why I've asked Eugene at lunchtime to give us a little overview of common law, because it was definitely a clear stepping stone for all of us. All right, so it's known as the Garden of Eden. That place, it's a place of rebirth, it's a place of coming full circle, it's a regenesis place, and we are busy with the regenesis of ourselves, this whole bringing through the death of the old self and bringing on the new genetics, the upgraded self, the more awakened self, and bringing that through us and to the people that are around us. That's why it's an important site. It's like a coming, it's known as the circle, and it's a coming full circle, understanding origins. Now, we are the gods of our own being. We don't have to, we are choosing who it is that we are wanting to be. Okay, so let me pass on to Leone. Did someone have their hand up? Roy, yes, please, Roy. Lovely to see you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. It's Roy.
I'm Roy's role. Just a quick little explanation of the image behind me, my virtual background. We were in the Kruger Park in about 2010 with some guests from Germany. The four of us, my wife and the two friends, spent some time up there. And I had a very spiritual encounter with the male lion. This guy over here, this guy. And initially we saw him alone lying in the grass next to the road. And I made eye contact with this majestic being. And I had a very deep experience of, well, it's very difficult to describe the rage and anger and ferocity of sovereign territorial assertion. This was quite an experience, very spiritual experience, very intimidating. But I transformed that experience and made a connection with that male lion. And a little while later, interestingly, the lioness appeared. She just emerged out of the grass, which I thought was interesting because I first encountered the male lion and then came into awareness of the feminine aspect of this Lyran spirit. Last night, I just wrote something. I was starting to write something, and it's by no means complete, but I would just like to share that.
Please, I'd love that. Please do.
A few lines. To the great warrior spirits of this time of great awakening, you know who you are and why you have come to be here upon the breast of the Great Mother. A great darkness descended upon this place a long time ago. Now we have returned after many lifetimes to remember our agreement with the Creator and to fulfill the promise of our ancestors. We are the children of light. I thank you.
Beautiful. So be it. Amen. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you, Roy. It would be amazing if you would post that. I don't know if you can post that into the chat for us. I don't know if it's possible at all. If it's not, then that's fine. Absolutely beautiful. You could even post it into the Telegram group if you feel like it, later. Bless your heart. Thank you. Let's go on to Leone's amazing self, amazing being, and hear from her. Leone, I've made you into a co-host, so let's see how it goes if you can screen share. If you need to share your presentation.
Thank you. I think that it's all working. We'll see how it goes. I cannot describe how my body is vibrating with the high energy in this vessel that we've created today. It's phenomenal. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for their beautiful presence here. It's really fabulous. Let me see, where do I start? I'm going to introduce myself to those who don't know me. My name is Leone. I'm also known as Anushe Ra. My story, like all of ours, is a long one. It's been coming for lifetimes, but in this embodiment to get to this place where I am today, through the experiences that I've had over my life, have been, it's just one of my greatest joys to find myself in this place where I am now, understanding who I truly be. I'm going to start my screen share, I think. Bear with me. So I refer to this as the Great Mystery. I wanted to introduce myself by giving you this photo, which is of me. I don't know where they found it. I don't know who the person is riding on my back, but that's basically
you
who
white
I am.
lion. Wow.
I'm a fully merged gold-winged lion dragon being.
Wow.
I've been shown that my ancestry is from Lyra, as are most of us. Most of life seeded on Earth is from Lyra. So thanks so much, Amanda, for inviting me to speak today. I'm a storyteller by genetic programming. So I love to tell a story, but I do believe and know that I have limited time. So I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible. I did a trial run a couple of days ago, and it was 33 minutes long. I think that's quite significant for me as well. I always pay attention to numbers, but I will try and bring it to as close as possible to 15 or 20 minutes. There's a lot to share, and I have a storybook about my Royal Lyran project, which is available. If anybody's keen on that, you can communicate with me directly. So the discovery of my essence and who I be and part of my soul's mission was revealed to me in one of those amazing supernatural experiences. In 2018, I was watching a DVD about a San family, a Bushman family who live in the Kalahari. This is a family that we've been supporting financially, energetically, just helping them in every way that we possibly can for about 15 years. I was blessed to go and visit them in 2009, and I remember looking into Trubi's eyes. He's the elder, and he's also a Lion Shaman. Looking into his eyes and feeling that I was looking into the cosmos. And when he took my hands and held my hands, I just started crying, and I could see the emotion in him and that beautiful connection that we made. Anyway, somebody who's a friend of mine had made a DVD about the family with their beautiful music in it. And on this day, back in 2018, I was watching the DVD and doing some other things while I was busy. You know what it's like, you multitask on the laptop. And suddenly I heard the voice of Trubi. I also heard Oma, his wife. I heard Anna, the healer in the family. I heard Marcella, who was their daughter, who'd been murdered a year before I met them. And I heard Ananda, the husband of the woman who made the DVD, who had also been murdered. I heard these people calling my name, and it was like, wow, what is that? And as I looked up at the screen, the image that you see of the lioness was there, and my silhouette in the background. And that was really a very, very powerful moment for me, because I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? And I took a screenshot and decided from then to, something happened in my spirit. And I just decided to discover more about this lion connection. I believe that this was the seeding of my Royal Lyran project, which was birthed not long after that. I've always had a connection to the big felines. It's in my storybook. Goes back many, many years, where I had an incredible encounter with a leopard in the Kruger National Park. So where I am today is dovetailed. It's the Royal Lyran project and also my work as the Cosmic Scribe. So you'll see the image on the right of your screen is a code that I brought in just after this experience with hearing the family calling me. And this was to invite other people to join me in the Royal Lyran project. Some months before this, it was in late 2017, June or July 2017, I undertook a shamanic journey to find answers to the perplexing death of my beautiful son, Kyle. And I find it very interesting that we brought in today into this conversation the topic of death, because I didn't really want to focus on it, but it is an integral part of what we're going through at the moment, because we are in a death process. And in that death process, we are also in a life process. We are rebirthing. I understand that we die and are reborn every day. Just to show you some images of my beautiful son, his name is Kyle. He was always drawing lions, painting them. You'll see there at the top left, when he visited the Lion Park, obviously there's a deep connection between those two beings, looking into each other's eyes. Kyle made a gift for his sister on her 30th birthday, and the whole storybook was about his experiences with lots of lion drawings. This photo of him in 2002, I mean, he looks like a golden lion, can't deny that. And the image on the right is how I saw him in a dream not long after he transitioned. Anyway, so I went into this journey shamanic journey to try and find answers about his death, because there was something that was just unexplainable to me. And in this journey, I connected with 13 beautiful, magnificent beings of light. They shimmered very much like this image of the golden light body. They were shimmering like that, and they were like stars in their essence. But they were cloaked with, I can only describe it as like monks' cowls. And I think that they presented like that so that I could relate to their being in a sort of human form. As I connected with them, wanting to ask about Kyle's death, I suddenly had images flash into my mind. And I drew them on the desk pad next to me. I got 3, the top 3, those first 3 symbols, which you see there, is what was shown to me. And I was like, okay, great. What is this? I don't understand it. What must I do with it? And they said to me, meditate on them. And then we played, we had fun. They showed me how to move energy. They showed me how to move my body. If you can imagine these crazy kind of like Asian ninja movies where the people run and they run up the wall and flip over from the ceiling and down onto the earth. That is what we were doing in this remainder of that shamanic journey. And it was quite an experience for me. 2 or 3 days later, I decided that I would have another journey with them. And as I went in, they gave me the second of 3 symbols. And again, I said, you know, what is this? And they said, just meditate on it. So that's what I did. For 3 weeks, I meditated on those symbols, tried to understand what it was about, and asked for guidance. Then an article came into my email from a woman that I'm not really a follower of people, but there are certain individuals who are presenting important work and information. And one of those is Lisa Renee of Energetic Synthesis. I've always resonated with her work. And I received an email from her. And when I started reading that email, I suddenly had this key given to me. The symbols in the right order that I had received them represented the work in her email and what she was speaking to. And that was like this huge switch went on in me. And I realized, okay, this is what this is all about. And then I started bringing in the codes, as I referred to them. It was definitely a key to unlocking that gift. What would happen is that in dream time, I would see the image, and on waking, I would then go and render it on paper. Sometimes I would see the whole image, other times it would just be an element of it, and then I would start drawing. And sorry. They were very childlike in the beginning. And as it progressed, I started getting more sacred geometric codes. This is a code that came to me almost in its entirety in dream time. I saw every little dot, every line, every graphic, the glyphs, which are these symbols. I call them glyphs. This is the script. So when I got this, I was very much aware that it was leading me into more sacred geometric codes. Interestingly enough, a few weeks ago, I was meditating on my codes, and I heard the voice. So the voice for me is my higher self, my God who is me, who I am, source of all that is, whatever words you want to use there. That voice has been my guiding force since I started my journey, and I know the voice and I trust the voice. And I heard the voice saying to me, well done, you've graduated. So I had a little chuckle because I was thinking about my codes that I brought in. I mean, in the beginning, they were really very, very basic, and like very much like a grade 1 child, drawing people, stick man. And then when you get to 10 or 11, you flesh it out a little bit. And by the time you're 15, you're drawing beautiful things. And when you graduate, you pretty much have it down. So that's how it felt for me, because I started bringing in codes that look like this. And even now, when I look at that, I get emotional. Sorry, something is happening inside of me now, and it's really beautiful. So I'm allowing it to flow. Every time I bring in a code, and I don't go into a trance state, but I'm certainly in a different dimension when I do this work. And when I'm finished, and I know that I'm finished, I put my pen down and I look at what I've created, and I just can't believe it. And I'm really, really grateful. And I want to acknowledge all the great beings who assist me with this. What is really beautiful is that that journey that I went on, where I thought I was asking for answers to Kyle's transition. And for 4 years, I believed that I received codes. But 2 weeks ago, I was told by a woman that I had a session with regarding his transition. She said to me that Kyle is the one who's actually energizing the codes and bringing them down to me. So that was a beautiful aha for me, because I did get an answer to his transition, who he is and what he's doing in the higher realms now. Okay, so deep breath, Leone. Back to the Royal Lyran project. I started receiving downloads of geographical points on the Earth. They started off in trines. The first one that I received was, let me just move on to that. So the first trine that I received was connecting Uluru with Brandberg in Namibia and Mount Kilimanjaro. It was quite an awesome experience for me. I didn't quite understand it, but I was like so ready to just do this work. And there was a part of me that was remembering that I had done this before, that it was not new to me. And I feel that often when I'm doing the codes as well, I have flashbacks of lifetimes in Atlantis, lifetimes in ancient Egypt, lifetimes in Lemuria. And I know that this is what I've done many, many times before. I've even been reminded about a life in Australia as one of the First Nations people, as an Aborigine there, but I'll get to that now. So I started sharing these trines to members of the Royal Lyran project, and with each trine or geometry, I would receive a code. And we would do what we know how to do, because we're really and truly working from our higher selves when we do this work. So we imprint the codes into the earth. I have been shown that how this grid has expanded. I'm now on the 16th geometry in this particular project, but that these grids are in fact connecting with crystalline grids that have been created in the cosmos by the divine. And many other people across the globe are also creating grids, and they're all merging at this time. So this is really, really important and really a beautiful work, which we're all busy with. So to come back to my life as an Aborigine, I've been told that I'm a transducer, so I bring what appears as a huge megalithic structure in the cosmos. I bring that geometry down into the code, and then I transduce it or dance to life, and I sing it into the earth. I was shown a life as an Aboriginal woman, not a leader of a tribe or anything like that, just as an individual, a shaman, walking the earth and singing the song lines and singing the heart lines into the earth. And this is what those people do. They don't wander around in the desert because they're bored and they've got nothing better to do. They walk about and they imprint these beautiful codes. So the first 13 of these were trines, or 3-pointed geometries. And then each successive geometry since then in the last few months has expanded into a 4-sided and then a 5-sided, and the most recent is a 6-sided. In the beginning, they were geographical points on the earth, and then I started receiving points off planet, for instance, to Leone, our central sun, and into the earth, in Middle Earth, points there. Just to give you an example, this is the 15th trine that I brought in, and as you can see, it connects the diamond heart of Great Central Sun with Lyra. I was given the word Song of Lyra. I'm still researching and feeling into why that came in like that and not just the planet. And then it connects to Leone and the central sun, to the diamond heart of Gaia. So Gaia is our 7th dimensional earth, and the womb of Tiamat. And for those of you that don't know about Tiamat, she is the original creation, the form that came into being, the chaos of the earth. And she is also a mighty dragon. And her womb actually lies around the area of Mount Kilimanjaro, which was one of the points in the first trine that I brought in. So what is so beautiful for me is seeing all the threads that are being connected. So much has already been said in our gathering here today of the Lyrans, the energies, the sacred geometry, the memories of lives that we've had, the death process, the change that we're all going through on the earth. It's very, very clear to me. I've actually walked an incredible path with death, and it's brought me to a place where I offer myself as a death doula. I like to call it ecstatic death, because for me, the process started back in 2000. Actually, in that year, there were 5 people really, really close to me, people that I loved, plus my German Shepherd dog, who died within the first 6 months of the year. And I was very aware of death as an energy, as a being, if you want to, stretching out a hand and saying, come and take a walk with me. And I did that. And it changed my perspective of death. We also spoke about fear. This is what Lyrans are all about. They are fearless. They go forth into every situation in courage and just bravery and power and might. And I can clearly remember when I came to Portugal in 2010, also by divine design. My time here at this moment is by divine design. And back then it was as well. I saw the hand of God on everything that made it possible for me to be in Portugal. I connected with an amazing family of healers, people who were doing the same kind of work as I was. They called it multidimensional therapy. I was just doing it. I never had a name. I was never trained by anybody. I didn't know what to call it. I just did it. When I connected with these people, we were in a workshop and there were a whole lot of new people with us. And one of the exercises we were doing was to record on a piece of paper everything that we are afraid of, so that we can, do something with it. And I held the paper in my hand, and there was nothing that I could write on the paper. I was not afraid of anything at that time, nothing. And I was watching others in the room around me, and they were all writing furiously, and I couldn't understand it. Looking back on that now, I realize it's because of my Lyran aspect. I am fearless. And even when I've faced a number of dark nights of the soul, I've been able to walk through them fearlessly. So the Lyrans, so much has been said about them already. So I'm not going to speak too much to that because it's all very relevant what's been said. So beautiful. I just love this image that I found on the internet. I'm going to credit Leone Perry. And this very much sums up to me what the Lyrans and the lions are all about. It's sacred geometry, it's life force, it is stepping into a newness and doing that fearlessly. Trying to understand who I be and how this all ties in. I made this mind map. It's from a couple of years ago. In fact, it needs to be updated, but it's already quite wild, trying to draw all the threads together. And there's a lot of what has been spoken today is part of this mind map of mine. I'm going to work on it this week. Okay, our Lyran origins. As Amanda said, the Lyrans are the oldest souls in the galaxy. And anybody here who is a Lyran, I think most of you probably are. I'm quite sure that you have memory of lives in other star systems because we have lived on many star systems, and that can sometimes be confusing because you think, oh, you know, what am I actually? Where did I actually come from? And for some people, it's important. What is important for me is that we're all from source originally. And we've had lifetimes on Andromeda, Aldebaran, Sirius, Pleiades, Arcturus, and others that I don't even know. The Lyrans are the keepers of the ancient wisdom, because when the wars broke out and the planets in the constellation of Lyra were threatening to be destroyed, and some of them were destroyed, we went in and we captured and held sacred in our vessels the ancient wisdom. And that is what is being brought back to us at this time. The way I understand it and believe it is that each one of us is a crystal which is going to be activated at this time. And as we are all brought online, or like I prefer to say online, we are going to be bringing our piece of this beautiful puzzle, these golden threads which are going to be drawn together in the most magnificent tapestry. As you can see here, starseeds from Lyra pursue their dreams fearlessly. It's no surprise that many of us here are Lyrans and that we belong to connecting consciousness, because we are the ones who will fearlessly stand up for injustice. We want the truth. We want all life to be lived in sovereignty. And there is no beast more sovereign to me than a lion. So I understand that the Lyrans made their collective ascension not too long ago. I don't know what that means in our linear minds, but it's recent enough for them to be able to understand what we here on Earth are experiencing. And that is why we, the Lyrans, have come here. It's to help raise the level of consciousness. So to get back to the codes, Amanda's asked me to bring in the energy of the codes. What is really amazing for me is that these codes that I'm going to share with you now I actually brought in 2020. You'll see the way that I do my codes at the bottom. I have a date, which is 20 is the year, 03 the month, 28 the day, and then the time 0824. I was told that these numerological values are very important and also form part of a code which is in the entire code. These came in over a period of about 6 weeks, and they came in with the name Terra Nova. And when I brought in the first one, which is on the left, I didn't know that I would be bringing in 9 of these. But as they came in, I was told, okay, here's Terra Nova 2, Terra Nova 3, etc., etc. People ask me, what do the codes mean? And what is this language here? What's this writing? What is that all about? And I just say to them, I don't know, I'm the scribe. I just scribe them. But I do get key words or key phrases, and sometimes I do get a full interpretation of what the code is about. What I say to people when I do a code for you, for your personal expansion, or if I'm doing it for a situation like this where it's a global thing, a planetary thing, a cosmic thing, don't use your 3D mind to try and understand the code. Just look at it and breathe it into your heart and allow your higher self to understand, because your higher self does understand what is in that code, what the glyphs mean. Every dot, every jot, every line, every geometry, every single thing in this code has an energetic frequency which we can receive into our bodies and which we can beam out, radiate out into situations, into the earth, into whatever place you feel would benefit from it. The most important thing is our intention, and to do it from a space of love with a high heart intention. So I'm going to invite you to look at these codes. As I say, there are 9, and then there is the 10th one, which I brought in specifically for today.
Leone, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to tell you about the time.
Yes,
It's
oh my goodness.
Almost 10:30.
Okay, great.
And so it means we've only got 5 minutes to close.
It's perfect. I'm going to run through these quite quickly.
Okay.
And just invite everybody to focus on them and then send the energy that you feel in your heart out to them. Literally only needs maybe 5 seconds on, or 8 seconds on each image.
Okay, and I wondered if you would be prepared to sing us a code, sing us a light code for our way out, to sing us on our way to the next room.
Yes, it'll be my honor and my joy to do that, Amanda. That's the next thing I was going to say, that while you're looking at these, if I start toning or singing in light language, please don't be surprised. Yeah, don't be shocked. It's really and truly coming from my high heart. And it is in a language that we all understand in our spirits. So thank you so much.
So I just before you end, because I'm going to let you end, I just want to thank you so much for your incredible presentation. It was so wonderful to hear your journey and see more of who you are. And hopefully it's just the beginning. It's yeah, very, very spectacular and moving. And you know, we know that you're not going to be available the whole day today. But if, you know, are you going to be here for anything else, or are you going to be gone?
I'm going to pop in and out. I've set time aside to be at the constellation. I really want to be part of the constellation. I'm going to try to be there for a bit with each of the things. So I'll be popping in and out. Thank you so much, Amanda. I really appreciate your loving words, and much love to all of you and to all of us, and to we. May we rise and roar.
Thanks, everybody. So I'm going to let Leone close this. Thanks so much for everybody. I'm sorry that we didn't have time for any more speakers, but we've got a lot of time in the rest of the day to unfold. So we hope to see you in the next room, which will be beginning soonish. Okay, thanks everybody.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. So if you'd like to just center yourselves, ground yourselves, connect yourselves in whatever way you normally do your meditations, and then just look at each code. I'll go through them. I'm not going to say anything. They will be appearing in a few seconds each. And then just receive it into your body if you feel to do that, and beam it out if you feel to do that. Thank you so much. Here we go. Ungarawase ha ankehil tumbraushi zauhangarau tandan bihil jurushi angawaka lihit mautu se roto yoko. Thank you, everybody. Blessings upon all of you. Thank you so much. I will put my email address in the chat, and if anybody would like to reach out to me with questions, I'm very, very happy to hear from you. Thank you for creating this together.
So much, Leone. Thank you, everybody. So with the next guest that we've got coming in about 5 minutes is John Moore. I'm just going to check if he's online, but if anyone would like a quick loo break, grab a drink, anything like that, stretch your legs for a few minutes. Now is the time. We'll see you back in a few minutes. Thanks, everybody.
Stop sharing.